off your mind, it's okay. She off your mind,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Ingo touchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over Naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary. Maiyegun la wa mo, la mo do. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Hello there.
La mo do. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Maiyegun diary.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun Live.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun diary.
Thank you.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun diary Politico.
Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And just tag whoever you can tag and tell them that Maiyegun ti dé o.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣẹ́ o, kẹ́gọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó.
Now you can take your time to read the caption of the broadcast if you are watching us, if you are watching this live, most importantly. So the writer for this chat today is that if you have already known, good. If you haven't, well, now you do. Nigeria Naira, for the first time in its history, crossed the border. And today, it is 800 Naira to $1. Ha! APC. You did this one. I'll tell you more.
And yes, we like you. And yes, we like you.
Yomi Totu, welcome to the service, and every one of you as well. Now, if you read further, there is this short part of that caption that said that Tinubu is going to win 2023 election, but he is going to break Nigeria up. I'll tell you more about that. It's a fake news eventually, but it's like they shot themselves in the foot and they couldn't take what was coming. But we'll talk about that. Yes. Atiku is in America. I asked a question. I said, could it be that Obanparo lied to millions of people for years? Or could it be that the same waiver they gave to Atiku in 2019 when they thought maybe, just maybe he could pull it off and defeat Bokwari? What was it? You know, some are saying that he went to America on the diplomatic as aid to Tambua. No. You'll get to know a bit tonight. Talking about Fowobe, that's where I'm going to start from. Usually, right, I am such a very rare person to see just out there. Not because there's anything special, no. It's because I am so private. I don't party. I don't club. And then, you will barely, you can say I barely socialize. However, whenever I have a chance, an opportunity of being with other people out there, especially either here in Glasgow or any part of the UK that I've been to, there are some certain questions people have asked. One of them is that, Maiyegun, we have seen a lot of people, well, in the past and as well as in the present, when they tend to be very vocal, then at some point, we don't know what happened to them. They just suddenly, like 360 degree, you found them defending the same criminals that they have kind of exposed all their lives on social media. But Maiyegun, what if somebody approaches you and say, name your price? What would you like to? Initially I told somebody before today, said, sometimes some of us, we are kind of overrating ourselves. Do you get that? I belong to the generation of Shebi Otimo, Elewa Sharpmo. I said that I have an opportunity to be able to express myself all the time. Then I have listeners. Does not put me in the bracket or basket of somebody that is worth of anything, of money, to these rogues. That's what I said. I said, I don't think I am that valuable to somebody too. I said, secondly, I am not approachable. Let's be honest. Okay? I am not approachable. Like I said, you barely see me. I barely take calls. I barely reply messages. And how? And it was like, but what if they want it for good to support? I said, you have no idea. Somehow in this journey, I found amazing people all over the world that are always there, to give me all the support I need right here on this temple. That there was never a time I was looking forward to politicians or any one of them approaching, because I'm not approachable. Let's be honest. Few times I've had interactions with politicians, especially from my own state, Ogun State, It didn't end well. They realized that no, that guy is, unapproachable. But what I'm mostly after is that when I see the good, any good done, right? And I realize that this particular good is going to impact genuinely on the life and lives of millions of people. I don't shy away from it. I'll say it. But you see, Nigeria is a place whereby even when the politicians do anything that looks good, in my own book, they mostly come back as like a mistake or a smoke screen. Nothing they do when they sit down and conspire about whatever territory or whichever territory they are managing and stealing from, they are not sitting to plan anything good. So in my own book, they are just of no good. Because when you put the good and the bad and the worst and you put them beside themselves and you realize that you could barely, even with a microscope, you could barely see the good they claim to be doing without seeing the fraud behind that good. Do you understand? Although many of you feel like even if they do, at least they are doing something. But in my own book, which I have never been wrong about them, is that whatever good they do for you, listen, if you pay attention very well, you realize that they have actually robbed you and hurt you even worse than what they said they were trying to fix. So because of this, I became just Maiyegun. And the meaning of that Maiyegun is that somebody who wants the world to be orderly and peaceful. And do you know what brings peace and orderliness into homes, into family, into, orderliness is justice, equity, fairness. Do you understand those words? They are not just words, though. They are words that if you follow them with action, you will see orderliness. You will see peace. But where there is no justice, where there is no equity, where there is no fairness, there is no fairness in wealth distribution, you know that. There is no fairness in opportunity distribution, you know that. And what you now have is classism. That's Nigeria. And to make it worse, no matter what side you think you belong to, in the name of Nigeria, right? You are a victim of their own misgovernance. Their misgovernance, their injustice, their unfairness, their inequality, and every other thing they've brought into the old system that has divided people and made so many of you to loathe yourselves. You hate yourselves with so much passion that if an opportunity presents itself, whenever a slight opportunity presents itself, you don't waste any time in getting your frustration, your anger meted on those who become unfortunate of your age. You set them ablaze. Ole. You set them ablaze. Ole. You lynch them. But the criminals, who are the real criminals, they receive a warm chorus welcome from you. So no matter where you belong, in my book, in which you should know whether you are a Christian, a Muslim, Northerner, Southerner, Easterner, Westerner, and any other tribe you come from, the Nigeria you have today, everybody is collecting his own share. And that is why it won't make any sense for anybody to think one day this Maiyegun is going to change. The only thing that will change Maiyegun, which I am actually looking forward to, is when the real justice is done, where fairness in the system is, exists, and the equity and equality that actually indeed place you all equal before the law. Then there will be peace and orderliness. There are so many things that could bring this about. And that is why it is a waste of time. It is a waste of question. or should I say, it is a waste of hope. That I know, this Maiyegun, I know it's like, you don't know. See, my likes are not many. There are no two Maiyegun. And you can take that to the bank all the time. Because personally, I feel like if there should be any justice at all to start with, it should start from how did we come together to agree to be part of Nigeria? Let us start from that scratch and ask this, excuse me, this general question from everyone. Would you still love to be part of Nigeria? That's a very a very straightforward question. Yes or no? And everything else will follow. We are watching it right before our very eyes. Nigeria is deteriorating. The Nigeria future is completely evaporating right before our eyes. The economy. This is not just like, oh, the whole world is suffering from economic COVID, Russia, hello. Nigeria has been suffering from one pandemic to another since 1960 that has stunted our growth, stunted the progress of the people. And it has become a jungle where it has become the survival of the fittest. This is no longer a land of opportunity. And every day that land continues to be stifled. And I mean, to be milked and dried up. And the opportunity continues to dry up as well. So this day, you have more people who are going to be born in poverty and they will die in poverty. You know why? I don't know how old you are. But Nigeria, the next 40 years of Nigeria, in fact, the next 60 years of Nigeria has been mortgaged enough that we will all have to live through poverty. Do you understand what I mean? It means that whatever you are witnessing right now, this is how it's going to be, even worse for the next 60 years, except you change course. And how do you change course? You don't continue to do the same thing again and again and expect a different result. Right before our eyes, the future of our own generation and the generation coming after us are no longer looking forward to a greater Nigeria. They are looking forward to an opportunity to leave Nigeria or an opportunity to be part of those milking Nigeria. And, it's like a bubble. It keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. At a point, it will have no space to take in anymore. And guess what? Boom, it will burst. So when these guys came in 2015, I was talking about the debt profile. The Nigerian debt profile now has been stretched to over 60 years. Do you know what that means? Except you break up Nigeria now, share the debt, share the assets, and then maybe go about and seek for debt forgiveness or a new management where you are not going to say Nigeria. In a way, let everybody handle their own affairs in their own different region. And in this case, maybe, just maybe, we can possibly save an extra 30 years that has been mortgaged. Save half of that, of the 60 years they've mortgaged. Maybe, just maybe, with what they have done now. So, when these guys came in, the Nigerian Naira was 190 Naira to $1. Okay? And for some of you who might be like, then what is this force? What is all this force about dollars? You guys don't spend dollars. So why are you worried about dollars and other? I'll tell you, okay? Except if you actually know, but it is one of your own safe zone to safe zone to hide from the truth, or you are just an hypocrite, or you just don't know at all. Any of those, I'll give you the reasons why. Nigeria is an import-dependent country. What that means is that a country of 220 million people depends largely on the foreign importation of almost everything that they need in that country. Now, that might be shocking, right? Well, it shouldn't be. It has always been like that for a very long time. But at a time in the history of Nigeria, they managed to cut down that importation by locally, producing some of them, including agro products that they could grow in Nigeria. And Nigeria really depends on importation of food to the point that they were importing cooked egusi soup from China in sachet, in a sachet bag. Now, to import from anywhere means you have to buy from them. Take, for example, all over the world, right? Almost 60% to 70% of a world trade currency, the currency that they use to trade all over the world is dollars. Only few countries take their own currency, or euro or pound sterling as well. But well, if you are dealing with the UK. So Nigerians who are importers, who go abroad to bring those goods down to Nigeria, they can't pay them in Naira. Since you are not producing them, so you would have to rely on whatever cost you are given. And then you have to rely as well on your central bank to provide you with that forex. Normally, that Nigeria is producing should be producing about 2 million barrels in a day, but Nigeria is producing about 1.2 million barrels in a day. Now, that 1.2 million barrels a day that Nigeria is producing, they are not taking 100% of that money. A barrel is $107 or so now. Yeah. So normally that should be like a rush of dollar to Nigeria. But here is something you should know as well. The extraction of crude oil in Nigeria is not done by Nigeria. It's done by different private companies, like oil companies. Oil companies. They brought their own equipment. They extract those oil. So in partnership with Nigeria, so they pay royalty to Nigeria. I don't know how much they pay in percentage, but if you sell a barrel of crude oil for $107, the companies will take their own share from it and they will give the royalty to Nigeria. Now, that royalty to Nigeria government under this APC, which ordinarily is not much since they are losing their own oil to thieves in Niger Delta and all the areas, right? Now, the Boko Haram's government, they now created a sort of a bottomless hole to sink and then to bury those forex that is coming from crude oil sale. What is that? It is called subsidy. Something that Nigeria used to spend 200 billion on in a year. Nigeria is now spending about 4 trillion in a year for subsidy. That is to make sure that you are not buying a liter of fuel for 600 naira per liter. So they are paying trillions to marketers who take crude oil out of Nigeria and they bring in the finished product. But if they have to sell them per liter, you will pay through your nose. So they are now, the money for crude oil that they are selling, the subsidy payment is taking it. In fact, they are now running at loss, that they have to start borrowing money to pay for that subsidy too, which means all the money generated from the crude oil sale in Niger Delta, they can't come in regularly anymore. So that is like Nigeria have no real regular forex supply. So where do you think the traders who want to bring in the goods to Nigeria would then have to find the dollars? That is why dollars now became scarce. So from 199 naira to $1 in 2015, it jumped to 250, 270 to $1, 350 to $1, 450 to $1, 550 to $1, 450 again. Your dollar don't crash. It is no longer 550 naira to $1. It is now 470. Yes, we know it's still going to go down. But Baba, I said dollar was dollar they carried them a handicap. So within a week or two, it went back to 500, 505, 550, and then on to today, 800 naira. So you may wake up tomorrow and they will say, dollar is now 710 Naira. And you will see the APC, Egbekegbe Fufu sellers, they will be jubilating. Yeah, it's still going to crash. Asiwaju has not become president. Dollar don't they crash. Forgetting the fact that these Olori Burukus met dollars. They met that Naira at 199 Naira. And they promised you that the reasons why Nigeria continue to lose, the Naira continue to lose its value is because Nigeria is not producing anything. So Nigeria is having to sell and buy dollars all the time. Do you get that scope? So I just said I should say that to you, okay? So you may wake up tomorrow morning and they will say, no, it's not 800 Naira, Maiyegun. It is a 760 Naira now. I know it's high, but don't let us carry fake news. It is not Olori Bruku. They forgot that 7 years ago, it was 190 Naira to $1, and they promised you that they will make that dollar equal to Naira, or they will make Naira equal to dollar. Now it is 800 Naira. So no wonder they decided to, their election is getting the, what do you call it? The bite now. The teeth is coming out. Everybody is like getting set to stifle themselves and all that, right? Atiku is in America. Convincing, according to his own handler, they said Atiku is in America trying to explain to the Americans that the security threats in Abuja and across Nigeria, he can handle it. But we'll come back to that of Atiku. So we woke up this morning. In fact, it was yesterday. Then, and they said breaking news. Tinubu is going to win the 2023 election, but it is going to be the end of Nigeria. So the APC, Egbekegbe, they pick that. You shall go win, Abi. Ingo shall win. Everything else now your own prediction. Do you get that now? However, within hours, when people started digging, they found out that it's actually fake news. Well, it's not fake news. It was like an opinion of somebody who was writing from Lagos. Let me see if I still have that name. No. So there was this guy who was writing from Lagos, and he was comparing what is current his own electoral map, they call it. And he said, some of them that I actually picked myself, and I want to share that with you because some of them we have actually shared them on this platform several times. Okay, so we know that normal, there shouldn't be anywhere where people should still be standing up to, with the wreckage, with the destruction, with the division, with the killings, and the shame these criminals have brought upon Nigeria in the last 7 years, that they shouldn't even find anybody confident enough to come out and say, I am supporting APC, but it's Nigeria. You get what I mean now? It is Nigeria. But nevertheless, they also know that it's not going to be an easy ride, because it's never been. They are the chief propagandists. They are those who can push any narrative as false as it might be. They can push it until you begin to believe that it is actually true. But here are some ingredients that guy pointed out when he first released that article, until we realized that it wasn't actually like a Fitch. You know that Fitch, American Fitch ratings, that American rating company. The ones that always like run polls here and there and all that. But it was published as if to say it was them who did something and said no. But in that submission, that guy said Tinubu and then APC, Egbekegbe, they have so much to lose if they should lose the power. That's the start, right? Then the guy said, so many people within APC, Egbekegbe, so many of them, they might be double dealing, which is like they might be working for Atiku. But on the other hand, they have a lot to lose as well if their party lose power at the center. That's second base. Then the third one is that now that Peter Obi has divided PDP, which has further reduced the PDP chance that Atiku used in 2019 that didn't really work. So that then presents Tinubu, who has so much money, to share and give and buy those that can be bought, like, votes buyer. What do you call that thing? What do you call that thing again? Vote buying. Is that what you call it? No, there's a name for it. When they give you money, is it called vote buying? That he has the deepest pockets, that he can buy anyone buyable. And at the same time, because his party is nominating the chairman of, the party is the one in charge of the INEC and the police and the military, things we've said here. So the guy said they can also make sure that those who want to challenge them, that their numbers, their base, and their voters in their different bases are, drastically reduced or altered, including if they have to use violence to disrupt them from voting. All of this they can do. Then finally, he said, with the Muslim tickets, Nigeria is at the gate of a collapse. Like, when you are traveling, I say, you are currently traveling through challenge. When you now, when you are about to finish or to get to the end of challenge, you reach gates. That gate is the breakup gate of Nigeria. So they now said, because Nigeria has been divided by APC, they started this AIDS campaign, this divisive campaign, this tribal ethnic profiling, this religious profiling, and so many other things that they have brought into the campaign of Nigeria. Don't forget, they said Nigeria hasn't recovered. That guy said Nigeria hasn't recovered from 2014, 2015. And it's true. So many of you still have that PTSD. And every time they say election, they come. Now that time you remember. The Yorubas are this. The Igbos are that. The Hausas are this. The Fulanis are that. And it is always every time, Abi. The people who make sure that they planted that in you so well. APC, Egbe, they said they are going to do it. And they are already doing it. In fact, the guy said they are already doing it. So what will now happen is that APC have in their own, on their side, the tool to weaken their challengers by using the same rhetoric they used in 2014, 2015. And that's exactly what is happening now, right? So what will then happen is that since they would have to want to maintain the status quo, the economic downturn will continue. The ethnic profiling and then tribal profile will continue. The religious persecution will continue. All the things you are witnessing now will continue. Now, since in 7 years, APC, Egbekegbe have been able to make every one of us to understand where we belong. The Nigeria that you belong to, everybody know in place now. So since they have achieved that, so in another 2-3 years, if they have a chance of not ending up in jail and they still end up in that same power and controlling it, now on top Tinubu, everything goes scatter. Somebody shout hallelujah, be amen, amen. Because you know what I said that? He has this man who has been disturbing me. I know he's watching. When I say disturbing me, I mean somebody who has been sending me messages, and whenever I found the time to check and I see, and I'm going to see like 80 messages. Do you know what this person have been sending to me? He's been messaging to tell me that Tinubu go give them Yoruba nation. That is why Yorubas have to support Tinubu so that he can break Nigeria and give them Yoruba nation. So when I said say amen, somebody, because somebody who are living in that illusion as well, could also help in bringing you on into that what do you call it, into that destined for doom vehicle, using you as a bait. I am a Yoruba. So because you know what I mean, when they have no idea what they are talking about. Because according to this, if Tinubu come there, is going to declare Yoruba nation. I said, then where is then going to be president of where? No, it's just going to come home and become president of Yoruba nation. I was like, well, they are right in all they said. The reasons why we are talking about the Nigeria's bogus unity, the Nigeria's fraudulent amalgamation, the damages, the ruins these have cost us from one generation to another. We know at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that for the first time, everybody was able to agree and say something is wrong. And if nothing is done, the end is going to be so disastrous. Something that people said, those who are saying that are agents or prophet of doom, they are not. You have agent of doom, agent of destruction, agent of ruin, and the rest of them who are controlling the vehicle of Nigeria, and the way they are recklessly doing it, they are directing or driving it towards doom. They are the agent of doom. Those trying to raise your consciousness or your subconscious mind are the prophet of freedom. Put it that way. Because the point here is this: Tinubu himself, like others who have managed to escape the justice. If there is justice, I have told people, if there is justice, if there is law, and if there is order, if there's equity and fairness, Bokwari by now in family members supposed to do the remembrance. You know why? Because none of you will probably read about him, anything good about him, because he would have been hung. Yeah, they would have hung him. Because it was the first person, the first terrorist trained by Nigeria, fed by Nigeria, and then he turned his gun on Nigeria to take over power, and he destroyed Nigeria within just 30 months. So normal, that thing, by now, nobody should even hear about Bokwari anywhere, talk less of him coming back to ruin your lives again. Now, this time around, he has now placed this 60 years poverty embargo on all of us who are going to be here. Though few of us are going to fight and escape it. But what is the difference between, how much difference do you have between 6 and 7? As they say. What's the difference between half a dozen, 6 and half a dozen? You see people who make, when you think you are fighting and getting out of poverty, then you realize that the system is pulling more people into that poverty. And within your circle alone, there's so much people that will have to cling on to you if you should by any means have some money, or you are a little bit above water, your head is above water. You know what I'm talking about? So eventually, one rich man as somebody once told me, he said, Maiyegun, if you see any palatial estate anywhere, there is a slum. I'm talking about slum where people are living wretchedly 10 minutes away. And he's right. I told him, I said, well, some of them now who believe that they are living in a posh area, the posh areas are pretty much like slums these days anyway. Do you get that now? So to those of us who knows that with what Nigeria has become, with what these guys have done, it is ideal for people who know better to do better. When we say know better, simply means that if you have a chance of telling somebody something, let it be the truth that you personally believe in as well. And here is the truth. The criminals who are angling to be in charge of Nigeria, as we have said many times, it's just like a turn-by-turn Nigeria Limited, right? APC, Egbekegbe, that brought this reality to all of us. The breaking point where everybody feels like, if nothing happens and then, they have to continue, it's better everybody brace up, because it's just going to get worse and bumpy again. And it's true. So who want to take that ride? I'll come back to that. So they said that if they now push their Muslim ticket, and they come to power, what that simply just certified is that at this point, just forget everything you have been taught about Nigeria and begin to live the new reality, which is your present reality, because there is more from where that comes from, according to them. So let me quickly take a dash to redeem. This one, I saw it earlier when I was coming on as well. Initially, right, somebody said that, what do you call it? In fact, there's something I wanted to say before I go to this, because I want to go to Redeem Church, a quick one. You've heard about the Murik guy, that Baba Murik, that guy, yeah. They said he's now fighting for why are there no mosque inside the Redeem Church, Redeem Camp. That if they have, JAMB centers there, GC centers there, YX centers there, right? They must have mosques there for those who are students, who are Muslims and all that, right? Anyway, I'll come back to that again. I remember what I wanted to say earlier. I was talking about justice. So if there was justice, Bokwari, Tifnumbu, and most of the guys who are now presenting themselves as your saviors today, majority of them either would have been banned from public office, from holding any public office, or they would have been dead by now because of the level of, atrocities they've committed against you over the years. But every year they get rewarded and rewarded and rewarded with something more and more, and they make your life more miserable and miserable and unfortunate and unfortunate. So justice, equity, fairness, that is what is missing. Do you get that now? So let's come back. And that is also what is pointing to Atiku. Let me give you a quick background of Atiku's America story, because it's always good to have the background story. Atiku took his team, and they are currently in Washington, D.C. Why is it a big deal? What is so biggie? Why do they need American validation? Why do they need British validation? It is the same reason why that Nigeria, who have nothing in common, ethnic nationalities who have nothing in common, are fused and forced together to form a country that wasn't really supposed to be a country, but just like an empire, a commercial empire for the British crown. So if you want to lead that empire as it is this day and time, you will need the validation of these people, So, but what is the story behind that Atiku can go to America and all of that stuff? What's the big deal? I'll tell you. Now, the big deal is that when Obasanjo was president of Nigeria, this man, Atiku Abubakar, from Adamawa State, was his vice president. Now, Obasanjo, an ex-convict, convicted of treason, trying to overthrow Abacha, who later died. So they brought Obasanjo out of prison. Very, very, I mean, Nigeria who gave him everything, they've taken almost everything from him. He had nothing. But you see, this guy, he's been in politics since 1992. And within a year that he joined politics for real, he said he's been following Shehu Yar'Adua and all of that from his own background, right? Now, within a year, he ran for office to become president of Nigeria against MKO Abiola. At the Just Convention, he stepped down for Abiola, right? Just to register his name at the national politics. So fast forward to 1999, Obasanjo picked him to be his vice. And his vice, he became. Remember, Obasanjo, a soldier, just came out of prison. Nobody really is, the soldiers wanted him to lead. And he really doesn't have politicians as friends. So Atiku, who was retired, who retired from custom according to his record. When he retired from custom, he made so much money. But before he retired from custom, right, he made so much money. He was in trading and he was a billionaire according to himself. So he has so much money that he went into politics and he was able to run for president in 1993. So again, back to 1999. Okay. So the military that wanted Obasanjo to come and be the president of Nigeria funded this election. So Atiku was just to fill in the gap of the political, the politicians and their ways. So Atiku probably used that Shehu Yar'Adua, Abina Musa Yar'Adua, PDM movement or something then, right? Let me take his picture off so that you can see my face. I'm giving you Atiku's history, undiluted one. So when he came to Obasanjo's government, Obasanjo was commander-in-chief of the armed forces as a soldier. And they quickly made the law that empowered the president to make his vice the head of the economic council of the country. So this opened Atiku up, right, to build network of friends with benefits. Friends with benefits across Nigeria. While Obasanjo was junketing all over the world, begging for the debt forgiveness for Nigeria. So within 3 years, Atiku has become so powerful politically. The vice president was like the president. The people that really matter politically, including in their party, PDP, they would rather talk to Atiku than talk to Obasanjo. When Obasanjo realized this, it was too late. They had to make Obasanjo beg him. Atiku won those people by his generosity. And his generosity is how much of Nigeria assets he gave to those friends. And guess what? When you talk about that generosity, Atiku was nice to all of the thieves from all of the tribes, from all of the religion. That's why he has a lot of friends, but they are friends with benefits. To the point that they didn't really see Obasanjo as president. Atiku was seen as, cut the long story short, we didn't know what he gave to them until 3-4 years later. And this is the story. While Obasanjo was going about everywhere, Atiku was given the mandate to go out there and find out and discover all of the assets of the government. You remember, military just left. So Obasanjo in prison. The civilians have no idea where money day, where we go to see money, where we go to steal money, and all of that. So that job was given to Atiku to discover where are the government properties. Which one are those ones that have been taken over by people? People were changing government property. They're changing the names to their own name when they are doing democracy, that thing. Long story short, that was how Atiku, the person who became the founder of EFCC. Do you know that it was Atiku that started EFCC? Yeah, I'll tell you that story too, but hang on. So it was so powerful that his friends became so rich. Oh no. All you have to do is to say, I found this and that in a Papa area and all of that. They say, okay, do you know, do you have the, okay, go and do the paperwork. Yeah, bring the paper. So buildings, properties of government that were built with billions, they were being sold as scraps to his friends. In return, they were to remain loyal to him. That was how he built his empire under Obasanjo, to the point that Obasanjo had to prostrate for him before Atiku could allow Obasanjo to run for second term. Obasanjo said it. Obasanjo said he did not prostrate like prostrate. That what happened was that he heard that Atiku was going to run for president in 2003 instead of for Obasanjo to go for second term. And Obasanjo around that time was like, I haven't even been anywhere. I have been all over the world begging for this. Atiku no do that now. That Obasanjo said at a point he wanted to prostrate, but they quickly hold him. They held him. No. It's all right, Mr. President. No, it's when elder say, when they are talking to you and they're like, do you want me to beg you? If you want me to prostrate, I'll prostrate for you. And then you're like, no, don't prostrate. No, it's okay. Gazikiani. That decision, even Atiku himself, in one of his own book, he said he regretted it. That time, Obasanjo was vulnerable. He's nothing. He's just president. That was why immediately they came for their second term. Obasanjo faced him and his friends. First, Obasanjo started going after his friends. Atiku realized that. Obasanjo started setting up a net, trap for him all over the world, including America. That was the genesis of if you go America, if you go. Okay? So, to the point that Obasanjo wanted him impeached, arrested for corruption, and jailed before they completed their 2007. Before they completed their 8 years. But Atiku had friends. I mean, as somebody said, they said, at the Abuja chicken, nobody fit finish him. Abacha came, he looted. He died. Abdul Salami came. They said that was this all billions. He's looted. It's gone. Obasanjo came, he looted. Abuja chicken, no they finish that they call him. So Atiku had access to these resources everywhere, all over the place. Ports, airports, what do you call it? Land borders, everywhere. His friends were buying things up. Hotels, everywhere. Landed properties everywhere. He was giving them as giveaway. Obasanjo started going after them. When Atiku realized that he was coming after him, to the point that Obasanjo went as far as going after his wives, Atiku's wives, who are laundering money for him. He got to a stage whereby Atiku, as vice president of Nigeria, was probably flying his own, what do you call it? It was like, it was just on his own, like, he couldn't go to some certain places. Remember Alamesia? That was the treatment Obasanjo wanted to give to Atiku. When they told her, no, we cannot do that to vice president of Nigeria. No. It's okay, what if he's impeached? But by the time Obasanjo will get to the National Assembly, Atiku owns almost half of them. The remaining half, they don't like Obasanjo as well. So last, Atiku was able to succeed. To survive. But that was the genesis of his corruption, this corruption that Obasanjo gave his dossier to Interpol or everybody all over the world, including America. So immediately after Atiku's tenure in 2007, America became a no-go area. Not because he couldn't, because he's entitled to diplomatic passport for life. Do you know that? If you are a president and vice president, you are entitled to diplomatic passport for the rest of your life in Nigeria. Do you know that? You don't? Except if they say they should take it from you for some reason, maybe court or no. In fact, they can't. I don't think they can. Can they? So Atiku can go to anywhere in the world with his diplomatic passport. But the reason why he won't go to everywhere in the world was because Obasanjo ghost is haunting him as well. You know what happened, Ni? I mean, everybody associated with Atiku, where they collect money from Nigeria, collected from Obasanjo's witch hunting. Everybody who collected bribe, Atiku, they collect bribe for contract. You know, they have to come to him. BPE, Bureau of a Public Enterprise, Abi, public enterprise, Lenkpe. People were coming to bid for government properties. They were coming from you pay bribe. He's in charge. That was so huge. Even Obasanjo couldn't uproot him. Some of you are looking today are like, how come he's been spending money to become president all this while and the money never finished? He no finish. You see what these guys did to Nigeria? If you have a clue, you will never want Nigeria to be sustained for them for another night. All of them. If Abacha no die, you know, go hear all these things so you hear. Abacha died. Look at what they have stolen from Nigeria after that. After Abacha. Look at what individuals are stealing. Individuals, civil servants, and the rest of them. Politicians and all of them. You see? It's if you don't cut it off, you will be shocked. Well, maybe not shocked anyway, because it's like a turn by turn anyway. Atiku has so much money. He has so much assets. Nigerian assets that are held in proxy for him. Even Obasanjo don't know where they. He don't know all of them. We are talking about trillions and trillions worth of assets of Nigeria. There are people, thousands of people are holding on his behalf right there. Some of them, like they will never find out. Abacha's wife said, no matter how much money they take from them, they will never be as poor as Dangote. And Dangote is the richest black man alive, richest man in Africa, richest black man on earth. The wife of a kleptomaniac general, a murderous general, a late dictator. The wife of a late dictator in Nigeria said, no matter how much Nigeria collects from them, they will never be as broke as Dangote. That's somebody with $12 billion. So how much is Dangote's worth? 20, $12 billion. So far, so good. They have recovered over $5 billion of Abacha loot. And the wife said, no matter how much they collected anything, forget it. They will never be as broke as a public fund. So Atiku is still alive. You will never know how much of your money. So he's in America, So in 2019, what happened is this. Some said, that's why they are calling him Adimeru. Some of you will be wondering, why are they calling Atiku Adimeru? I'll tell you. In 2015, it was APC lover boy. Lovey. Atiku is on our side. This one is on our side. That is why sorry. Obedience. That is why sometimes you guys are just like jokes to me. Thieves, criminals. Hey, they don't come to our side. Let's forget about that, Jare. We need to move on. This country, you are telling yourselves lies. I've seen that before. Oniro, you are lying. Atiku was a darling to the APC. Egbe. When he left them in 2017 or so, after Bokwari came to take the contract of collecting tax in Lagos Seaport, Lagos Port, Bokwari came. We didn't know that Atiku's friends, Atiku's company, Intel, has been collecting tax from Apapa Seaport since 2002. You remember those times where they said that they sell all the properties? Apapa Wharf is one of them. How can you have Ministry of Finance? You have a Federal Inland Revenue Service. You have staff, civil servants. Their job is to generate revenue for government, to tabulate the revenue and make sure that taxes are paid as at when due. Only for in Nigeria, the civil servants can't do the job they are employed to do. They will now have to say they are giving the job to companies owned by the weary criminals, politicians, who decided to leave all the civil servants in there, stealing, changing figure, falsifying figure, writing budget, and all of that, stealing, but not really doing the job. So they now give the jobs to themselves, their companies, their private, their friends and family. So you go and collect the tax for us. You can take 30% and give government 70%. That's what Atiku did since 2002. Now 2015, his friend Bokwari terminated the contract. You know why they terminated? They said since 2002, they realized that Atiku's Intel company barely remits anything they generated from Apapa. Maybe you remember now where they brought this Salisu Abisu Monu, Abigu Zuberu, Abikilo Koma, Onirugbon Fufun, that man with that custom Ali, that one where they break for that way they declare 1 trillion, 1.5 trillion, one skinny called trillion. Luri, you know that guy? That's why they brought the guy now. They say custom, no, they generate enough money and all of that. So Intel, no, they generate money for them, so they have to bring somebody else to do the job. They collect the contract from Atiku. So immediately become your president, Intel will go back to Apapa and other places as well. You know, business continue. Atiku. You won't be part of Nigeria of that, Abi. Now that one you won't do. Good luck to you on that. Thank you, Jare, Director Scott. So in 2019, now the APC Egbekegbe first said, you know, if you go to America. Obasanjo said, Atiku no fit go America. But Obasanjo knows that. He knows what his deal is with them in America. But America too, they are playing it smart. In 2019, you know what America did? You know, it was between Bokwari and Atiku. Here you get. So Bokwari, Atiku, and the mood was pretty much like this. Everybody was raging. APC, they scam us. They are now saying next level. We no go agree. We no go. You know that noise, What if Atiku can become your president? They could consider they look for Nigeria president in America. Sure you get. So they quickly gave what is called temporary waiver to enter America for a purpose. Like, okay, you're going to the US. Where are you going in the US? I'm going to this place and I want to go to that place. So specifically, you go to that place, okay, and you leave, please. That arrangement that they do and well. Sure you know. You know, say America and Russia, they know they agree. Though before now, you know, say America and Russia know they agree. But when they call for United Nations meeting for New York, Putin go. Anytime when you want to go, you know. And he has to go there, go into America. He will fly into America. They will say, President of Republic of Russia is about to land. He's going to go there. Now, the only person when they go anywhere now, Kim Jong-un, that one mad. Sure you get. So there's always that, diplomatic waiver, diplomatic this and that. What if he becomes a president in Ko? No be Nigeria. What if they can't declare a winner? We can't say Nigeria president is wanted in America. We can't decide quickly change the book. So they gave him the waiver. I know that one. I know that one very sure. Because you know why? America arrested Atiku's wife. Then jailing wife for money laundering. You dey hear me? Then jail American congressman, person will be House of Rep member for America, collected bribe to pay and transfer that bribe to Atiku. Some of the bribe were paid to his wife, Jamila Atiku. To the point that America arrested her for money laundering. All thanks to Obasanjo. Because normally, you know they check diplomatic baggage and luggages in airport. You don't. It don't matter, even if na Zimbabwe, even if na Somalia. once you have diplomatic seal on it, except if they specifically ask them that go and search them. And diplomatic cover actually covers family members too. All you have to put diplomatic. They have that seal. Have you been to the airport? Like I've actually been to I've not been to the VIP. But I've been to the airport where I've seen the people sitting down in the VIP. And I can see them, let's say like diplomatic seal. The seal can't be like this blue, red, diplomatic. You don't open them. But when they go to America, the wife of the vice president of Nigeria, one of the wives of the vice president of Nigeria got stopped at American airport, and they found their bags of cash. And then when they were doing their investigation, they realized that she's been laundering money from Nigeria. In fact, what they found in her pocket, the money that she's laundered within that short period of time was actually over $80 million. I mean, it's online. All these things are there for you to read. They are not hidden. They are not secrets. They are open. So when they arrested his wife, arrested his friend, arrested few other people in America, and Siemens, where they give them the bribe, and those who gave them, they themselves are already facing Congress hearing in America. Or when I saw Atiku say bye-bye, I know they come America. Until 2019, when they have to give him, like I said. And since that time, he never go back. So that was when the APC, when they saw him in America. Hey, Atiku is in America. It's fake. It's real. It's not fake. You remember that first term of APC? Saraki was the Senate president, Abi. Sure, you remember? Well, you should remember. Come on. So Saraki and others, and they led Atiku to America then. So that's why they said Atiku was like bonded into America. So that's why they are now calling it now APC. They call him Adimeru. They say Adimeru that Saraki packed Atiku with his bag and luggage and everything. Can't clear him because Saraki be Senate president. So Saraki as the diplomat. No. Atiku, as as a diplomatic passport that Saraki would never touch. Do you understand? Yeah. Saraki used to have it. They've taken it back. Once you leave that space, they will take it back from you. Then you go back to your normal passport. But you see, when you are president and vice president, right? For life. If I lie, tell me, because in Nigeria, sometimes, good me person can't they talk nonsense, can't they talk with confidence. But I read them somewhere, that if you are president and vice president for life, you keep it. Governors, all of they collect it back from them. They don't keep it. Right? And Senate president or governor cannot use, and then also diplomatic passport doesn't really cover what do you call it? Your head. It only covers you, only you. Okay. Saraki is the one with the diplomatic cover. With that diplomatic immunity. You see, everybody will follow him as his entourage, right? What they have is diplomatic courtesy, which is a cover that is at the discretion of those who are welcoming you. Okay? So if they are going to search everybody, they may not search you as Saraki or as Obasanjo, as Atiku. Everybody around you, if they look for you, Baba, now from Gatwick to Galonio, so just so you know, okay? Atiku doesn't need Saraki. Now, this one, they are in America. They said, it's in a Tambua diplomatic passport. Atiku take enter. No, that's not true. Okay. So yeah, it's actually, he got invited. All right. So these guys pay a lot of money to lobbyists. Okay. I don't know why they need American validation, but they all went there, and they will come here too. They're still coming to the Chatham House. Wait till they call that place Chatham House, Tinubu self go still go to America. They will say he's going to America, They all need those validation because normal, they have conquered majority of of the people back in Nigeria. that they can't think for themselves or think straight that much, right? So they just need the validation to make them feel like, wow, internationally. So Atiku is in America. His friends are also with him. This is not a real picture, by the way, so that you don't start looking for it like maybe, sure you get. Now people where they craze, now them make America, USA, Washington, D.C. shirt for Atiku. Sure you get now. So, however, his own friends who followed him there, they were there to give him moral support when it's going to be, you see, it's a court jester. They go everywhere. Dino. So, and yeah, they got me. I've been waiting for the video of what they discussed, but I haven't seen any. I've just been seeing photos and photos and photos. But yeah, they are there. Okay. Oh, Emeka Ihedioa, that's your guy. Then yeah, here. So you have a team. I think yeah. So he's in the US, and at a point, someone even like captured the entrance. Something not so you know. Mm-hmm. So when they say yeah, Atiku walk, waka jeje.
Please come forward. Very smooth, but very long.
Yes. So that was what do you call it? Atiku in America. So if I get anything more, I'll share that, because now you can say he can't. Well, you know, if he become your president, that won't matter anymore. Same thing with Tinubu as well. Whatever drug charges and all of that stuff is, but it's just like compromise on them as well. That's another story, by the way. When they have compromise, when this Western world have compromise on your criminal leaders, right? Eventually, they just have to do what they are told to do, even if they have to like hurt you again and again and again as they do, right? They will just have to do what they have to do, right? Because they will have compromise on them. Now, talking about compromise, I don't know which kind of compromise we then get for our own Oba, Royal Father Obaba. See, I'm a Yoruba man. And I also know about Yoruba culture and tradition. And I also know that the number one keeper of our own tradition and culture, the sacred, the sacredness of what they are mostly the royal fathers, Abi. But I will be deceiving myself, if I turn around, or should I say, yeah, I'll be deceiving myself if I turn around and say, and face my own, let's say my children, and lie to them that our royal fathers in Yoruba land, they are not representing our culture and tradition, even if they and those who actually like them want to tell us that Yoruba culture and tradition has anything to do with them in Jerusalem, Abi Israel, Abi Corinth, Abi Thessaloniki, or wherever they come from, then that you will carry the Igbakeji Orisha to this place. But check it out. So when you now see the Igbakeji Orishas, who will tell you that what happened is their own Bible tells them that after performing all of the traditional rites, the ones that we call sacred, something that actually makes them kings, and they turn around and they could be like this in a Maiyegun, are you saying it's the wrong thing? I said no. It is hypocrisy, my friend. Okay? The process and the procedures that produces a king in Yoruba land has nothing whatsoever, no connection, no relationship with any of this religion. And you know it. You do. But however, you can say, everybody can shout, hallelujah. And at the same time, we can also at the same time scream, our culture, our tradition are dying. Yeah, they are dying. The killers, those who are killing them, are the ones you are putting crowns on. And I hope maybe, maybe in my own lifetime, we can possibly just end it and say, well, you know what? Take it out of our own system and put it in the history book. Because what we have now are not representatives of our culture and tradition, but charlatans and opportunists, right? Who all they need is just use that same Yoruba culture and tradition as a stepping stone. Then they can now trample upon it and say, why are you asking me that question? Alayelua, Igbakeji Òrìṣà, Ọba Aládé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì àbí ní mọ́ṣáláṣí, ìrọ̀lẹ́ bá ń bẹ̀. You know what I mean? Ìrọ̀lẹ́ ṣe kí ni o? Alhaji Ọba, Dikin Ọba, òṣì lẹ́ ń ṣe, òṣì òun lẹ́ ń ṣe. Tẹ́ bá tanra yín tán, jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn gbọ́. Anyway, that's on the side. Talking about the aberration. The aberration of the tradition and all that. Same way I feel kind of insulted when maybe because I grew up, in in a community where where I experienced culture and tradition firsthand, where I know that people can put up different faces out there. They can put up different, pretense and all that. But there are some things that are just mismatched. They don't match. They don't match together, no matter what. So if you want to be a choir master, if you want to be wherever in your church, you actually have to let that tradition and culture, you have to leave it for those who actually understands this and indeed are willing to promote and protect it. Because do you know that Yoruba itself is a religion? Do you know that? It's because of those that we have been putting their crowns on clowns. And now we are witnessing a circus in Yoruba land. You know what I mean? So I was reading somewhere and somebody said, Murik, you know that madman? You know that Muri Akinola, B.A. Akintola, that professor or something, that madman. The guy came and, is the one that is currently being sponsored to continue to steer the water, the religious water in Yoruba land. Have you been following him? Right. Is the guy behind the campaigns that, in Yoruba land, when I was growing up, you would have, they called them Ishak. Have you Isaac Akintola? God bless you. That madman, oh, that madman. If you are if you are his son or daughter and you are watching me right now, see, I'm so sorry, right, that you have to hear it from somebody like me say your papa na madman, okay? But somehow, if you self reason and well, somehow, is this religion now, or madness? Now that's the person. Now, when we're growing up, right, they will say these ones are missionary schools. These ones are Muslim schools. Okay. It got to a point that we even had Adulawo. That Adulawo is something you can call African, like African religion education center. I saw all of that in my hometown, Odogbolu. Let's limit it to Christian Muslims now. So you have St. Paul's, you have St. This, you have Anglican, you have St. John. You know what I mean? Like, Then you have Muslim primary school, Muslim secondary school, say Aketola secondary school, this one and that. So you could go to any of these places if, number one, there are places whereby they are missionary schools whereby controlled and owned by churches, like, missionaries, they call them missionaries, Anglican missionary, African missionary school. So they were educating everybody. There was no, no rancor, no yawa, no nothing. But there were also schools that they would say, this one, now Our Lady, something. So now Christian school. And you will still see Muslims attend there. No yawa, no wala, no nothing. And it's been like that. Everybody is getting their education. I mean, you know what I mean? But there are places whereby they will say this one Islamic school. And Zaruddin Islam primary school, and Zaruddin secondary school, Awaru Islam secondary school. You know what I mean? So if you send your child there and you are not a Muslim, you can't go in there and start saying they are doing 5 prayers in a day. What's your business? Why did you send your child there? Or they are asking my daughter to wear hijab. Like, hello, you probably could go to other places which align with yours. And we've always been like that. For those who don't, for those who really care, there are many who don't. I went to Muslim primary school, Dogbolu. Then I went to Dogbolu Grammar School. There were my mates who went to St. John, St. Paul's, waiting again. I don't know. Many of them, they are Babalawo children, Alpha, Omo pastor, all that stuff. We went to all these places, even in the Dogbolu Muslim primary school. Omo Lorisha, Omo Babalawo, Omo anybody, you know what I mean? And also we go to sing Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin on the what do you call it, on assembly line every morning. Do you get that? Nobody really saw us. Or you see this Shoko Akintola, that madman. They said the guy, he started a campaign in Ilorin. He's been doing that campaign down to the west proper, asking that why are these Christian schools not allowing Muslims to wear hijab? Now that's become so big that state governors, they have to deal with protests here and there. Now they say the Were man is now saying, how could they have GCE centers, YX centers inside the redemption camp, and they don't have mosque there for the students who are going to use that center, and they are turning all the Muslim students back? That's why I call him a madman. His own pain is that the entire redemption camp, a private property, saying that Redeem get money. I remember that time when they said that Marwa sold them that land. That was, I was born in Lagos, right? In 1984. So 3 months after my birth, my mom and myself, we moved down to Ijebu, right? So I then lived in Ijebu. From that 3 months old baby, I didn't leave Ijebu until I turned 15. So, and I happen to be somebody who is always very, very inquisitive. I mean, people always told me that it don't be everything you go to ask. What must it's okay, shut up. So I've always been like somebody who always so inquisitive, curious. So when I was being taken to Lagos again, after 15 years, that I was allowed to go and spend my holiday in Lagos. Remember, my dad, most of my family and everyone they live in Lagos, they were like, doing Baderos. If you don't know Badero, you can Google them. Baderos. Quite all right people, right? So I was being taken back to Lagos for the first time in my life. So when we got to that part, and then this my old man who was driving, I said, what are they doing here? I like, is this place they call redemption camp? Redemption camp. He said, yes. Say, you see this place, so Now, stone throw. I don't know if you have been told that same story. Okay, because I'm getting older now, so maybe some of you have heard the same story before. My old man said it was a Marwa. It was a Marwa who was, who actually sold the place for them. I was like, okay. He said when they wanted to sell the land, that redemption camp, which is now your redemption camp today, they told them to throw stones. So they have to keep throwing stone. So when they find the farther the stone goes, that will be one. So the redeem has more than 1,000 hectares of land in that place. That was what my old man told. He said, you see what they want to do here? I don't know. I don't think they will just want to build church here. Oh. The land they have here can build a huge and big city. I'm talking about, when should that be? I'm talking about 1998, 1999 or thereabout. Redeemed Church bought their land with money, like offerings and tithe and everything. With their money, it's their land, not government land anymore. And it is meant to be like a Christian city, which means, number one, if you go and live there, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian and what have you, right? There must have been something that tells you that you are going into the midst. You are going into the midst of people who are of this faith. And this is them. Opposite them, they have NASFAT. NASFAT too. When I was growing up, then I started seeing NASFAT. They themselves, they bought like thousands of hectares in that same Lagos-Ibadan expressway. I even went there for vigil. Now then I know, say Muslims self, they do vigil. When I was growing up, we know they do vigil. Now only church. When I was going to Kerubu and Serafu as a boy, we they do vigil. Whether they do deliverance for me then, like Egbe Orun, all my Egbe, my mate with the heaven, we no one make her enjoy life. We won't drag me back. So for Kerubu and Serafu, then they go vigil. Now NASFAT, I realized that they do vigil too. That we're like praying la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah for NASFAT. As people they pray, Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire. Opposite there, they do Holy Ghost Congress. We will they do NASFAT vigil. So which simply means, right? It is a deliberate provocation because Were Akintola is now asking, why are there no mosque inside redemption camp? That's where they start to. So if you are his son or his daughter, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, like personally to you, or your papa na wiri. I am not sorry about that one. Okay, but I'm sorry how you might feel as Akintola, Rachel Abi. What's your name? Or your papa na madman. That is exactly what I said you should look out for from this man. He intentionally steer all kind of religious, nonsense, and it is deliberate. It is. That's not how to. I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe because I grew up in the wrong time, or should I say the right time, and now living in the wrong time. When I was growing up, religion, all these things, right? They don't cause us to start feeling like somebody's, more better than us, or no. We're like a community. We're community then. But you see these likes of these guys with what Nigeria has become. With what Nigeria has become, you can keep on looking. Because I said something else. I said it's not limited to that. All this media hype and all that you listen to all the time from him, right? They are just pretty much like just wetting, just water the floor, water the ground. This helping them to recruit other fanatics in Yoruba land, and by the time they they graduate from his school of his religious fanaticism that is bringing to Yoruba land, you'll be so surprised that wow, so we now have many Akintola here. Yes, there are many who are going through a tutelage right now. If somebody like that is not really called out early enough, we have a bigger problem in our hands, and that's it's even worse than whatever you might have read about Nigeria. I'm saying this to you because how do you fight those that you probably wish they, I mean, you probably see as your brother, the people you believe that you are fighting for? How do you have to turn around and then turn on them and fight them because of what they have turned to? That's why I'm saying this now. So you, all of you young people in Yoruba land, the likes of those who are pushing religious, ethnic, and tribal narratives in everything they do there, trying to tell you how this tribe is superior to that tribe, how your tribe is superior to that tribe. All those who bait you with those things, right? They don't mean well for you. I can tell you this for free. Well, I'm saying it for free. They don't what? Mean well for you. And that is why, if you look deeper into all the characters who have been active, the active players in all of the Nigeria Wahala that you know of, you will realize that they are using the same line, the fault line, the what do you call it? The default line, so to say. The line where once they throw the slow word, if you are an Igbo man, you will know they are talking to you. If you are a Yoruba man, you will know that this law is for you. If you're a Fulani and Hausa man, you know this is also for you. And that is existing in a frauderia where you are still lying to yourselves that something might still happen to change your story. And I'm saying it to you now. Nothing is going to happen until you make something happen. And what you should make happen first is to drop that dream, that lie, that these rogues, any of them, as a kind of a solution that will take you out of any kind of a logjam you are into right now. They are going to dig you further into it. I mean, probably if they actually dig you further into it, and you realize how deep it's become, if you manage to get out of it, I bet you would never, well, maybe I shouldn't bet it anyway because it's Nigeria. You probably would never want to experience same. Or maybe you would, because what's the issue? Or what's actually the problem right now? The problem is that the people complain, they suffer, they die, right? But they have something that is going for them, and that is they love to do same thing again and again, even though they want a different result. Then they do it again, and they get beaten and burnt. Some of them die. They regret, they curse, they weep, they cry. Then the moment for them to change their story and stop this, the circle of this violence, they do it again. That's a big problem, isn't it? Or we have those who are currently learning and believing that sometimes when something doesn't really break, it can be fixed. You know that? Somebody said that, Maiyegun, if some things are not broken, there is no point in fixing them. Sometimes when they break, you can't fix them, but you can actually, produce something kind of a finer from the ashes of the broken and ruined one. And I said, oh, okay, I would love to see that. Even though breaking up of a country to align with the belief, tradition, yearning, and goals of the people in the areas that decide to come together as one. Listen to me. There is a country called Malta. Some of them, you are going to pay 1 million naira to get their visa. Do you know the population of that place? 500,000 people. Do you get that now? And there's a country called, what do you call it, Scotland here. Do you know the population of Scotland? 4.3 million people. And you can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on like that. And you realize that, you see, you have been lied to, that you are likely going to be unable to sustain or survive on your own. That is not true. The reason why you have not, you are not showing that potential of being able to stand on your own or being able to do things ourselves is because we are part of Nigeria. We're meant to remain poorer. We're meant to maintain that poverty in a way that when 1, 2, 3 of us are out of that poverty, 1, 2, 3 people out of 1 million, when they're out of that poverty, we should celebrate that. It's grace. I mean, look at it. 1 million people are still in poverty anyway. So you were made to believe that this is all you have. This is all you've got. And if you don't care, or if you dare lose it, you will lose everything. Listen, you've lost everything. Nigeria has made us lose everything. So many people today are currently saying that I wish I knew what I know now 10, 20 years ago. I wish I had the opportunity I have now 10, 15 years ago when I was younger. I could probably have become something better, someone better or greater than this. But you know what I mean? There are people who have told me that. Like, man, I wish and they didn't see these opportunities until after they left Nigeria. You know what I mean? So they are shrinking the opportunity space in Nigeria and shrinking it. And the only thing that could happen is the bubble. Sure, you guys. So if there's going to be anywhere for us to create opportunities for ourselves, it's going to be from where we understand ourselves. I mean, listen, it's not going to be a rocket. Should I say it's not a rocket science, as they say, right? But it's not going to be like an overnight change. You get? You have to be able to feel like you want to try something different. I know the whole front right now is being sort of infiltrated, and people have been so cut off here and there. But you see what you have here, what you know. There's no amount of falsehood, no amount of manipulation should be able to take them away from you, and that is the truth. Now, if you keep that, that's +1 of those who have heard their truth and known that truth, and they will want to live by that truth and possibly make a difference with that truth. Or if you make it drop off every time you hear it, and you're just feeling like, well, I don't think it's possible, I don't think it's going to be doable, and all of that stuff, and at the end of the day, you just drop it. That's -1. You see, this Nigeria, it can't be sustained. It's unsustainable. Like, forget it. I've told people, I said, listen, when we say people should come together at this point and decide if they still want to be part of Nigeria or not, it is just for the good part of. And if they want to be part of Nigeria still, if the majority says we still want to be part of Nigeria, definitely they will never want to settle down for this kind of Nigeria. It's not serving anyone, is it? It's not serving anybody. But again, it's always going to be your choice if you choose to to do different or to be different, so to say. So thank you very much for the part. Now, the last part is just not so much of a part. It's just what we caught on the streets. So today, somewhere in Lafia. This one are just short clips before I call it a night. Now, from Lafia. Oh, hang on. Oh, I don't know. I'm glad I saw this clip, by the way. Now, you remember this last judgment of the Court of Appeal in favor of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And you also know or remember when Malamu and gang decided that they can't let him go. Nnamdi Kanu is a threat to national security of Nigeria. The irony of life, isn't it? Sad. Now, Nnamdi Kanu has defeated them in all of their courts. For real. Even where they managed to twist the judges to give them some temporary relief and all that, most of these have been overturned by the real judgment of court, which they have refused to obey. Nnamdi Kanu went to appeal court. And the appeal court granted him discharge and acquittal. Malamu since then has been running from pillar to post, begging the appeal court not to do that. Now, their desperation has made them, again, right, to have to change the judges of the appeal court. Now, how can you ask appeal court to rule against itself? Now, it doesn't make any sense. You go to high court. When high court rules, you go to appeal court to appeal it if you don't like what they have said. But going to the same appeal court to tell them to rule against themselves is completely strange. But it is Nigeria, all because they want to keep Nnamdi Kanu away. illegally. Now they asked the court. Now they didn't ask those judges who gave those who gave that judgment in the first place, right? They moved them away. They appointed the different 3 judges again, right? And when they presented the case to them again, and those ones were like, man, they couldn't give any judgment. So they had to say, we'll call you later to give the judgment on this application. What is that application? Nnamdi Kanu's discharge and acquittal still stands. What Malamu asked for now is what is called stay of execution. Stay of execution means, fine, we know you can't rule against yourself, but can you please give us a temporary order that will say we shouldn't carry out that judgment yet? It is called abuse of a legal system or abuse of a judicial system. And that is what APC, Egbekegbe, have been doing since they have been in that place, isn't it? So what did they do? They asked the appeal court to stay execution. Let me tell you something, right? We have 3 arms of government, okay? You have the executive, you have the legislature, then you have the judiciary, okay? Legislature makes laws. Judiciary interprets it. Executive executes the law. Now, you know what I mean? The legislatures makes the law. The law that they wanted to try Nnamdi Kanu with. The judiciary interpreted that law and said the executive was wrong. Now, it is now left for the executive to carry out the order of the judiciary. In that order, legislature, judiciary, executive. When it got to the turn of the executive, the abuse of the judicial process started. You know that. That's what they've been doing. Abuse of the judicial process. So they asked the court, their judge, and said, after we read the law and everything, you were wrong. Let him go. Release him. In fact, pay him. Apologize to him. You're so wrong. What you did is wrong. See, you might have a very good case against him in your own mind. But you see this whole, the way you went about it, you were wrong. No, it's so wrong. But you can do it again. The best way to do is first you correct this wrong, right? Get him back and take him back to where you got him from. Then do it properly. Okay? And then use this law to deal with him. Except for that, you're just wasting your time. And they were not happy to carry out that judgment because it's their duty to carry it out. Do you know that? It's the duty of the executive to carry out the order. So they begged them, can you stay for a moment? That's why so if they tell you that they said Nnamdi Kanu will remain in DSS custody, that is what their headline says. But the reason why Nnamdi Kanu will remain in their custody is not because the judgment that released him has been lifted, or it's not been lifted, though. Now, Supreme Court can cancel that judgment, too. Sure, you know. Another appeal court cannot appeal court, too. They do the appeal, oh. It's the same appeal court, too. If I'm saying nonsense, please tell me quickly, oh, all of you will be lawyer here. I'll be political scientist, I not be lawyer, but I kind of have an idea, Sha. I not be dunce. Sure, you get me now? So, Nnamdi Kanu, the freedom and the release of Nnamdi Kanu, that judgment stands. But they are begging them to please, don't let us release him now. We will release him, okay? We are going to Supreme Court and fight this, but at this point, because when appeal court say release him, even if you want to appeal it and go to Supreme Court, you will first release him. Do you understand? That is why if you go to High Court, and the High Court says release him, you can appeal it by going to appeal court and say no, we disagree, and the appeal court will first give you stay of execution, right? And then they will now choose a date for the hearing of the appeal. So with that period, they can keep you in their custody. But when appeal court say release him, discharged and acquitted, you will first release him. Then you can go to Supreme Court to appeal and say, well, Supreme Court, we want you to interpret this, because Supreme Court can sit in a single day and give their judgment. That's it. They don't sit and say, come back tomorrow, come back. They can sit now. They will just read the appeal and read everything, and they will give their own insight into it. They will call the representatives of Nnamdi Kanu, representatives of Nigeria, to just come and give oral, come and say something. You get what I mean? That's what Supreme Court does, though. Supreme Court is not a place where you have to do that same lawyer court. My Lord. No, it's not always like that, though. You just go in there. It's like you want to go and defend your thesis in front of your professor for your PhD and all that, yeah? You just go in there and present yourself and walk out. Their decision will come later. Do you get that? Well, Nigeria didn't do that. Nigeria begged the appeal court. They didn't even beg them. They changed the judges. They appointed their new ones, 3 new ones. And they told them to stay execution on the judgment of the 3 other appeal court judges in the same court. And that's what happened. So according to this lawyer, we'll explain it better. Listen to this.
Well, reaction is that the court has delivered its ruling in its wisdom. It's the same court that gave judgment on the 13th of this month, ordering a release or a discharge of Nnamdi Kanu. But the same court in its wisdom has this afternoon, though a different panel, but the same court of appeal, held that there should be a stay to that same order of discharge, meaning that Nnamdi Kanu will remain in custody. That is, for us as lawyers, we don't have anything to do, I'll say, until, especially knowing that the substantive appeal itself is before the Supreme Court. We go to the Supreme Court and ventilate the case of our client, Nnamdi Kanu. So that is the hope we look forward to, especially against the backdrop that they also made a consequential order that the record of appeal should be transmitted to the Supreme Court within 7 days. That gives a hope and indication that the appeal will be heard within a record time. So we hope that will take place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yet that, even on the record of the court, that the lead counsel, Chief Mike Ozekome, who brilliantly argued the appeal on Monday, this application against the federal government, is presently attending the International Bar Association Conference in Miami, Florida. So I heard his brief. Thank you.
So, Nnamdi Kanu's case has been forwarded to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And like somebody just backed me up there, that I was right. Supreme Court will make their decision behind closed doors. I know it's them, okay? But there is some level. From what I know, which I don't want to bet on, even Malamu, no, if you try the kind of nonsense they are trying with the appeal court justices or high court justices, that they can't try that with the Supreme Court. I said, okay, I don't want to put a bet on that. Well, I mean, it's Supreme Court now. Supreme Court, Omo, the best they would do is to let Nnamdi Kanu go. Now, you see, for those of you who have been doing night vigil since the day you heard that Nnamdi Kanu should be discharged and acquitted, and he should go home, and he should not be touched, and if there's anything at all that Nigeria can do for their own to save their faces, is to put Nnamdi Kanu in a plane and call Emefiole to go and load that plane with 1.5 billion naira gbese, that the case of Nnamdi Kanu has cost Nigeria, because Nigeria is in debt of 1.5 billion now, damages for Nnamdi Kanu. You know that. So the best they could do, put him in a plane, and put the 1.5 billion naira, the base you owe him, put that in that plane.
Well, reaction is that,
and fly him straight to Kenya and tell him to find his way. Say, see, no, we no get it to do with you again. Or better still, just open that door and let him walk out, because that is what your court said. That is what Bokwari said, let the court settle it. Your court has settled it. Make una stop all this your night vigil. He go die there. He won't die there. Just same way. Keeping him as they have done and kidnapping him and keeping him under your DSS underground cell. To your satisfaction, or to the satisfaction of your oppressors and your criminal leaders. It hasn't changed your life still. Keeping him there hasn't made your lives better. It hasn't improved your electricity. It hasn't improved your security. It hasn't improved your infrastructure. It hasn't improved your standard of living. More and more of you are falling into poverty, losing your jobs. Businesses are closing up, and all of that stuff. And all of this are supposed to be your concern. Not that, if he come out now, he won't let us vote. Indeed, since you've been voting, how far with your lives since you have been voting? So 1 man freedom is now the reason why your life is stagnant in Nigeria. Is it just 1 man's life? Is that what is holding your destiny? Well, you are not so different from your leader, but your law says free him. The best you can do right now, let him go. Even if you want them to kill him, your law says they shouldn't kill him. But if you don't let him go, what are you going to do? If the Supreme Court, your Supreme Court, have to discuss Biafra. Abi, don't you know that when your Supreme Court judges, the justices, when they are reading the case, they will be reading Biafra, Republic of Biafra, indigenous people of Biafra, in the IPOB, indigenous. You do know when they will write their own judgment, they will also have to write Biafra, IPOB, indigenous this, and all of that stuff. It will remain in the record of your Supreme Court. And that, even Nigeria Civil War, conversation around Nigerian Civil War, no reach Supreme Court. Now, if you have hated Nnamdi Kanu so far, because so many of you believe that, they are just giving him attention. He's a nobody. He's this or that. Blah, 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 blah. You are about to see the Nnamdi Kanu that you haven't seen before. Now, you can write this down, because, like somebody said, maybe if Bokwari's hatred for the Igbos did not sort of blinded him, and he wasn't full of hate towards the Igbo people, he would have ignored Nnamdi Kanu. He wouldn't have even touched, because he has done nothing to make Bokwari to unleash the state resources, Nigeria everything on him and the people of Igbo land. They have done nothing. But because of the hate, because of that kind of, I can't describe it, the vengeance, the revenge also in him, he was blinded by that, and he decided to use almighty Nigeria to crush Nnamdi Kanu. And look at it today. Nnamdi Kanu now has what you can call larger than life personality. He is not here. We'll talk about him. You know what I mean? If he says something, everybody will be like discussing it. If he doesn't say anything, everybody will be discussing. Who made that happen? The hatred for the Igbo people by this Fulani Janja with APC. Don't ever ignore that, though. That's exactly what prompted this. And now that Nnamdi Kanu's life and his personality are now even bigger than him. When you see Nnamdi Kanu, you'll be like, so now Nnamdi Kanu be this? Hey! Now the hatred for the Igbo people, that's what that built. Now that this is going to take them to Supreme Court, are you ready for what the outcome is going to be? Are you? I'm just saying, win or lose, as they say, you can never, ever win in the court of your oppressors, but you can embarrass them. That's exactly what Nnamdi Kanu is doing. He knows he can't win fair and square in the court of his his persecutors. He knows, but he's ready to fight them in their court because he can embarrass them there. When you begin to say, how did you arrive at that? Did you not receive the message of the president? I received the message. But when I was reading the case and the argument, I don't know what happened. I just thought that the guy didn't do anything. He didn't do anything, but we want to punish him. That's why we said he should do it. But I can't do it. I don't know what happened. I just can't say it. Now you have set him free. Are you mad? Yes, that's exactly what the IPOB is doing. No matter where you belong to. Look at it yourself. Look at it yourself. Out of 7 years of APC, Nnamdi Kanu has been in Boko Haram's detention in Nigeria because he's asking for referendum, a peaceful dissolution of Nigeria, right? He has been in Boko Haram's detention for over 4 years of that. Out of 7 years, 4 years. And yet, they couldn't really find any single crime, any single evidence, one single one, very strong and powerful one, to prove to you, all of you, what they have told you about Nnamdi Kanu. Just one. Out of 7 years, Nnamdi Kanu has been in their custody for 4 years. With them, they are together like this, back and forth. He's been with them. Yet they couldn't convict him. They couldn't even get a single 1 week conviction. So because you insulted Buhari, you are jailed for 1 week. You know that kind of thing. That is, he's jailed for 1 week. He's jailed for 1 month. Nothing. Nothing could stick. I just thought I should tell you, even though Malamu may be doing what you want him to do, but it's an injustice. That is one of the reasons why we believe Nigeria is unsustainable. When these guys continue like this, it's unsustainable. And whatever is unsustainable, is going to live out its time. Nigeria will live out a time with this crop of criminals. That's why we are saying now, for those who are smart enough to say, cut, or let me say, sorry, tape the bleeding, speak out, stand up, be counted. Even if you are just the only person standing around your area, make sure you are standing and not bending or pretending to. I won't say more than that. Obi was in Lafia today. Make us show you. But before that, there's this currency change that we are waiting for. You've heard about that. Emefiole, who want to change Nigeria money. They want to redesign it. Sure you get. So redesigning Nigeria notes, people have begun to give them samples. So if they want to redesign the 100, because redesigning your money is not going to increase the value. Do you know that? In fact, because of this redesign, Nigeria don't they take Babala punching. By the end of March, 2023, you may be exchanging $1 for 1,000 naira. I don't want that to happen because that hurts you so badly. Let me tell you something. No matter how much this sound, how ridiculous, even when you don't understand it very well, like I was saying from the beginning, oh, we don't spend dollars, now we spend naira. I've told you why. I am not happy. Even though Nigeria, when they destroy Nigeria like that, somehow, it makes people like us richer. Do you know that? I know. Maybe I shouldn't use the word. It just makes us more money. And you can save richer. 1,000 pounds. If you are exchanging 1,000 naira for 1,000, 1,000 naira for £1. So my 1,000 pounds is going to give me 1 million naira. 1 million naira is a lot of money, right? Even though the economy is what it is, but 1 million naira, that's a lot. So you will pay. You will pay through your nose. Hunger, joblessness, and your, oh man, I don't know how to break them down for you, but just to give you the tip. The announcement is nonsense. The reason for why they want to is absolute trash. but he has his advantage and disadvantage, but it's disadvantage outweighs his advantages. You know what? Everybody don't hear him. So if you see Sabinus for 1,000 naira and a prototype, they call him. Here you get Sabinus and Abi Popo. Here you get. And if you see what's it with this guy? Lasisi Elenu. They believe that instead of putting 2 people, how many people head for a year? How many head do you have on 500 naira? 1 Abi, Azikiwe. You can pull Lasisi there. So even if dollar see this one, you go say, which currency be this? Which money is this one? Is this Naira or what? I say, yeah, dollar, Naira. I say, I'm scared though. So instead of exchanging $1, instead of exchanging $1 with 800 naira, you can use one Zazu for $1. One Zazu. Because if dollar see this, we'll just be like, say, more. Sure you get. Or Mr. Macaroni, you can use one macaroni for £1. That would make a lot of this, but that's not going to change anything. You get what I mean now? It's not going to change anything. It is just a mockery. Your 500 naira will still be 5. In fact, it's going to be worse. And I don't think they want to change the names of the face and all that, okay? Because even the finance minister, when they were asking her, finance minister, what did they say? What was this about this change of money and all of that? Like, where would you get money to even print another money? She said, well, I don't know. I have no idea.
To call the monetary authorities because they're the competent authority to do this. We were not consulted. It was an announcement that we heard. And I've seen,
you too, you just saw the press release like every other body.
Part of the reasons that was advocated is that's one of the ways to mop up liquidity to manage inflation. But there are also consequences that we're also looking at. What would the consequences be? There will be some benefits, but there will be some challenges. And I don't know whether the monetary authorities have actually looked very closely as to what the consequences are and then how they can be mitigated. So I still advise that you have that discussion with the monetary authorities.
Anyway, well, that is that from this table of Maiyegun tonight. Tomorrow is Sunday, okay? So we should have our Sunday sermon at some point, and that is going to be the No Oats Bar segment, okay? And thank you very much as well. With our guy, Agon. Yeah, Ola Osman. Thank you very much for your super chat, by the way. Very much. Now, this is where we're going to draw the curtains, okay? I want to say thank you to everyone, as usual. Sorry that I wasn't here the last time, but, I mean, it's quite, a busy one over here, but we all follow what is going on back in Nigeria. So thank you for tuning in, turning up tonight again. I'm going to see you some other time. And until then, remember, don't leave without dropping your own offering. Like the broadcast. Share it and subscribe. I'm going to see you some other time, okay? So good night from here.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun diary Maiyegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Maiyegun diary Maiyegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun diary Maiyegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun diary Maiyegun number one. bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun diary na ibi number one.
ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun diary na ibi number one.
Maiyegun diary Politico.
Maiyegun diary na ibi number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun diary na ibi number one.
ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun diary na ibi number one.
àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tójódodo.
Maiyegun diary na ibi number one.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tún ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí o ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran.